and welcome. My name is Briana Richardson, and as Dottie said, I'm the lead esthetician at Spa Montage in Laguna Beach. I've worked there for 8 years. It's a fabulous spa. I hope to see you all there one day. So today I'm here to speak to you about skincare and the role that it plays in our overall wellness and health. Today we'll be talking about my story, your story, and our story. My story, I'll tell you a little bit about myself, my journey and the experiences I've gone through and what's got me to become so passionate about skincare and health. We'll talk a little bit about your story, the day-to-day consumer, what we're exposed to, what's really in our cosmetics, and how we can take care of our skin. And then our story, and that's us, and how we can make a difference in the lives that we choose to live, the beauty products that we choose to buy, and how what we purchase really can be our voice. So first, let's get into my story. So I've been very fortunate to have a wonderful life. I come from a great family, had a very happy and healthy childhood up until about age 14. I came down with normal flu-like symptoms and wound up being admitted to the hospital for exploratory surgery to find out that my appendix had ruptured, and it had been ruptured for approximately 4 days. At that point, my body was a complete septic mess. My body had started having the gangrene process happening, and it took what was going to be a 45-minute surgery turned into a 4.5-hour surgery, and after 2 months and 3 surgeries later, I was finally healthy enough to go home. My white blood count was completely normal. I had, again, no normal signs. There was nothing about the appendix that should have told my body, hey, something's going on. At that point, my body was completely destroyed as far as my immune system was concerned. After being in the hospital for such a long period of time, in order to save my life, the amount of medicine that they had to pump into my body truly weakened everything that fought off then the next 10, 15, 20 years of my life. It was then about 10 years later that I had now been at 9 surgeries, had this weakened immune system, and basically the doctors told my parents the only reason that I even lived through the surgeries and everything I went through was because I had been a healthy child who hadn't been exposed to many antibiotics in my life and hadn't taken many medicine, and because of that, I was able to be fortunate to have the medicine work when I needed it. After the 10 years, I now am at 9 surgeries, having dealt with all kinds of concerns from hormonal issues, covered head to toe in psoriasis, autoimmune issues, hormonal imbalances, and then finding out at age 18 that I couldn't have children. A lot to take in at a young age. And so it really wasn't until I started working at Montage and understanding what a holistic approach to lifestyle and to wellness was that I really started taking a look at, well, how can I maybe change my life? And how can, maybe there is something to this whole herbs and to the essential oils and, to this whole new alternative medicine world that I really didn't know much about. All I knew was that my doctors told me in order to not be sick and having surgeries every year, you need to be on these really high birth control pills and you can't have periods. You need to take them consecutively. So for 9 years, I didn't have periods. And I had to, I was an esthetician. I'm covered head to toe in psoriasis. How can you be an esthetician and covered head to toe in psoriasis? So I take the cortisone steroid creams and put them all over my body. They tell me, yeah, hopefully in 2 months it should clear up, but we're not really sure. You just need to put it on every spot every day. I'm like, I'm covered in it. And they're like, yeah, so you just take the steroids. So then meeting people at Montage and working with these amazing therapists that instead of taking an Advil when they have a headache, they take a vegetable juice, or instead of taking antibiotics, they take herbs or essential oils and things like this. It was a whole new world to me. And then it wasn't until I really got into Aztec that I truly embraced that experience, and especially when I went through the course called Chemical Elements. And Chemical Elements was when I got to learn really what our body's chemistry is made of and what our food is made of and what our skincare products should be made of, and how all of these different nutrients play such a vital role in the health and wellness for our body and to help these functions happen within our bodies. And so that's when I had that, what I like to refer to as the aha moment, where all the puzzle pieces start coming together and it's like, okay, this makes sense. Maybe there really is something to this. And what got me so passionate was to get people to start asking why. Instead of just taking the medicine because the doctor gives it to you, well, do I really need to take this medicine? What is it going to do for me? If I have a headache, is that my body telling me that I'm aspirin deficient, or is it maybe telling me that I'm missing different nutrients, and maybe if I go and take a vegetable juice, it's going to get rid of that headache instead of masking the symptoms? So it was really just this whole new approach. And if today you walk away with nothing else, I just want you to walk away to start asking questions. Start asking why. Why do we need to take these products? Or take this medicine. Maybe there is something to natural skincare, and maybe I shouldn't be putting all of these dead, harsh chemicals onto my body every single day. So again, seek not to learn, but to think, and seek not to accept what is told to you, but to question. So from dust we came, to dust we shall return. This is something where I learned the man, soil, ocean, and earth connection. That again, like I mentioned, we're all composed of the exact same elements. So when you take a look at the crust of the earth and the soil within the earth, when you look at the ocean, when you look at our body chemistry, we're all composed of the exact same elements. And it's these nutrients that play the vital role in our body to allow everything to function. We always hear about proteins and fats and carbohydrates. We hear about vitamins, but minerals aren't really talked about too often. And it's the minerals that are the life force for our body. It's those nutrients that allow all of the functions to happen that need to happen, whether that be to help boost our immune system, or to help eliminate waste and toxins within the body, to help stimulate new cell growth, or to help collagen and elastin build. All of these nutrients perform these functions to happen. So if we're eating a diet that's lacking all nutrients, and we're using skincare products that are dead, not full of any of these nutrients, then none of these are going to be able to provide those functions to happen. And so after looking at that is when I said, okay, so we're all composed of these same nutrients. We've got a chemical composition of a man, approximately 150 pounds, is made up of these main chemical elements. And so it's really understanding that it's about maintenance. It's not something that we can get one day. We can't erase everything that we've done to our body for the first 20 years or 10 years of our life and expect overnight for those to go away. It's about maintenance, just like with our cars. We know that we can't abuse our cars. We can't not put oil in them. We can't not get our oil changed. Our car's not going to run on water if we put water in our gas tank. It's going to run on gas, and the same things with our body. If we're putting empty calorie or empty nutrient foods into our body, you're just basically putting empty calories that are making our butts bigger, but they're not providing our body with anything beneficial. And so when you start looking at it more in nutrient density, that's where you want to look at both your skincare and your diet, and the fact that it's about nutrients in, toxics out, and increasing or decreasing your inflammation within your body. So some of the beauty minerals, just to touch on, real quick, with the chart there, you'll see that back in 1977, I believe is what the slides, or 1900s, our soils were full of tons of nutrients. So where is our food grown? It's grown in soil. So when we hear about things like organic and all of that and why it's so important, organic farmers have to maintain the soil within their farms in order to be rich in nutrients and not have the toxins. So forget about all the bad things we know that are in pesticides. If you even just look at nutrients, organic food is going to be that much more nutrient dense because they have to rotate their crops. They have to constantly work on making that soil nutrient dense. In North America alone, we're at an 85% topsoil depletion. So 85% of our topsoil is depleted of nutrients. So that's why you can pick up an apple that doesn't taste like an apple. It doesn't smell like an apple. There's nothing about that apple that is providing your body any kind of nutrients anymore. So again, going back to the beauty minerals, you want to look at foods that are high in nutrients, and especially these four. These are going to be the four main minerals that are going to be the most beneficial for beauty. So silica's role in skincare. It's needed for connective tissue health. Connective tissue is basically like our padding. If you think about like a teddy bear and everything, it's stuffing, it's kind of what our connective tissue is. It's what provides a true link between all structures within the body. If you think about a spider web and you were to pull on one part of a spider web and that whole spider web move, that's kind of what your connective tissue is like. It's what that healthy environment can either provide all the nutrients and all the benefits for your skin cells and your organs, or it can be full of waste and toxins, because when your little fighter cells come in and don't know what to do with this foreign object, your connective tissue is most likely where it's going to store it, or it's going to wind up in your lymphatic system and stay there for the rest of your life. So when you think about the things that you are putting into your body, just know that the connective tissue health is where a lot of these toxins are stored, and with cellulite and things like that. That's where it comes from, is these toxic buildup in the connective tissue. Connective tissue is also vital for collagen, elastin, polysaccharides. It's what provides that thickening effect within your skin. It will naturally help to improve wrinkles because of the fact that if you're plumping up the skin, you're going to naturally minimize that appearance of that fine line and wrinkle. And it's also going to help to restore the natural glow of the skin. Next, you have foods that are high in silica are going to be like bananas, oats, spinach, avocado, cucumbers. Zinc's role in skincare: promotes skin cell and tissue repair. It digests damaged collagen and helps to rebuild new collagen. It's going to help heal burns. It's anti-inflammatory, and it also provides a natural SPF protection to your skin. Some foods that are high in zinc are going to be like oysters, roasted pumpkin seeds and squash seeds, dark chocolate. Iron and the role it plays in the skin is going to be essential for healthy nails, skin color, and hair growth, sloughing off of old skin cells, and more than anything, iron is what promotes oxygen throughout the blood. And so when you think of someone who always suffers from chronic dark circles, yes, in Chinese face mapping that could correlate to liver, but it also could just be a lack of oxygen getting to that area. And if we're not having fresh oxygen getting into the skin, you're going to have stagnant waste, which is going to come up in dark circles. It's basically dead blood that isn't oxygenated blood anymore. Or acne. If you've got acne that is not getting any oxygen to it, acne is anaerobic. It can't live with the presence of oxygen. So if you help to promote all this oxygen, then you're going to help to kill that bacteria. So doing cardio and things like that that are going to increase that circulation is going to naturally help to flush out some of that excess bacteria within the skin. Some foods high in iron are things like sun-dried tomatoes, asparagus, parsley, spinach. Sulfur's role in the skin. Sulfur promotes beautiful complexion and a glowing skin. It's essential for components of all connective tissue. More permeability, helping products to penetrate deeper into the skin, helps to relieve pain and very anti-inflammatory. That's why you'll see sulfur a lot in acne-type skincare products. And provides elasticity, movement, healing, and repair within your tissues. Some foods that are high in sulfur are going to be like egg yolk, garlic, broccoli, and cauliflower. So understanding your skin. In order to really understand the importance that skincare plays within your body, you really need to understand a little bit about the skin, and we won't get too much into this. But basically, our skin is our largest organ, and we have 5 major elimination organs, your skin being the largest of our elimination organs. So when we think about the skin, it needs to be able to breathe, it needs to be able to detoxify, but at the same time, it can absorb what we're putting onto it. They say that your skin can absorb up to 60% of what you put on topically directly to the bloodstream, depending on the molecular size of that ingredient. And so if you think about things like birth control patches, nicotine patches, we know that the doctors are giving that to put on because it's a transdermal medicine. It's able to penetrate that skin barrier. So obviously we know that there are things that can get straight into the bloodstream. You've heard doTERRA speak about the essential oils. Another thing, within seconds can be found within your bloodstream. 6 functions of the skin. I like to remember it in the acronym of SHAPES. So you've got secretion, heat regulation, absorption, protection, excretion, and sensory. So within your secretion, we know that our pores are going to secrete oils, and our organs are going to secrete things, and our hormones are going to secrete. We know within the skin, the heat regulation, it's going to help to regulate our temperature. So whether that's that we're going to sweat to help cool down, or we're going to get goosebumps to help keep the heat that we have left in the body. Absorption, again, it's going to absorb products that we put onto it. Sorry, I'll get the clicker down. Protection, it's going to protect our inner organs and our bones, so that way when we bump into something, we don't break our hip. Excretion, we're going to excrete waste. One of the main reasons why it's so important at nighttime to make sure that you wash your face before you go to bed is because at nighttime your body's in a healing, resting state. So as your body heals and repairs itself and rejuvenates at nighttime, it's going to excrete all the byproduct and all the waste out of your body. So if you're going to sleep with all this makeup and anything you've collected on the skin throughout the day, then you're going to have a greater chances of having clogged pores or waking up with pimples, is because your body was trying to eliminate and it couldn't. And lastly, sensory. This is going to be our sensory nerve endings, so whether that's through touch or even heat and cold receptors. So basically, you want to think of our blood as like our river of life that's transporting all of these nutrients through our body and feeding all of our cells and all of our organs with these different nutrients. So really, at the end of the day, our skin is only ever going to be as healthy as our blood is. And if our blood is full of excess cholesterol, because we eat a lot of dairy products and excess meat products, then we're going to probably produce more oil and sebum production. We're probably going to have more acne. If our hormones are imbalanced and we've got all these excess hormones floating throughout the blood, then same thing. When the blood is flushing to the skin, excess hormones is what regulates our sebaceous gland activity. So if we have too much hormones regulating throughout the blood, we're going to be overproducing oils, kind of making us like a 16-year-old boy going through puberty. So that's why you'll experience during your cycles more breakouts, is because our estrogen levels decrease, our testosterone levels increase, and we've got this hormonal imbalance in the blood, which is going to affect our skin. So it's really more than just skincare. It's a holistic approach to the role your skin plays in your life. So now that we've talked a little bit about my story and why I'm so passionate about skincare and really the connection that it all plays, we'll talk a little bit about your story and what is exposed to the day-to-day consumer. So does this look familiar? There's too many choices out there. That's the number one question I get from people. Well, if I can't afford professional products, what is there out there I can buy that's still safe for me? Unfortunately, pretty much it's all the same. And even more sad is that most of these companies, all their products are made in the exact same manufacturing plant, and they're all just private labels. And so they're pretty much all the exact same ingredients. And most skincare products, the commercial lines in the department stores and the things in the drugstores are pretty much identical. And again, a lot of the times the exact same companies. So really, if you're not going to buy professional products, you might be better off sticking with the things in the drugstore, but hopefully after this presentation, you won't want to. So we're bombarded with too many choices. And when we're looking at our skincare, it really comes down to what the ingredients are. At the end of the day, it's 100% to fill up a bottle. So what is in this 100% product? We've got active versus inactives. Actives are going to be ingredients that actually provide a change. They have some kind of a purpose. So whether that be for anti-aging, deep cleansing, hydration, they really can provide a change for your skin. Kind of like in a NyQuil, the active ingredient would be the drug that temporarily makes you feel better. Where inactive ingredients are fillers, binders, preservatives, fragrances, dyes, sometimes things that help with the efficiency of the product, but more than anything, it usually just makes the products blend together and provides no benefit for your body or your skin, and a lot of times is where most of the chemicals come into play and have more bad effects than they do good. Sadly, in non-professional lines, most skincare products range between 0 to 4% active ingredients. It's what we like to refer to as the HACHU amount. And so usually everything that they're hyping about and what they're talking about, and oh, we've got this gold in our product, or oh, we got this new ingredient that's going to make your skin look 20 years younger. When you look at the ingredients, usually you'll find that's in the last 4 ingredients, and all the other things that you can't pronounce are what's mostly in that product. 80% of the 10,500 ingredients that are used in cosmetics today have never been tested by the FDA. That's less than 20% of our ingredients being tested. And we know out of the ones that are tested how toxic they are for us, but yet there's still 80% that have never even been tested. How scary is that? Some eye-opening facts: 70,000 chemicals are being dumped into the environment on a regular basis, which 65,000 are potentially hazardous to our health. A study by the Environmental Working Group in 2004 identified 287 industrial chemicals found in the umbilical cords of the blood cord, from baby's umbilical cord blood. That's before they've ever even been introduced to our environment. So that means just while being in the womb, while a woman is pregnant, taking really good care of herself, still can be exposed to that much toxins. Out of those 287, 180 of them known to cause cancer, and 217 of them known to be toxic to the brain and the nervous system. At the end of the day, the reason why knowing about these chemicals are so important is because almost all of these things create free radical damage. And free radical damage basically wreaks havoc on our system. If you think about a pipe that's been rusted over, that's kind of what free radicals do to our body. They start destroying us on a cellular level. And so when free radicals get into the body, you always hear things, oh, antioxidants, free radicals. Most people don't have any idea what those words really even mean. Free radicals are basically an unpaired electron that it's just flying around trying to pair itself. And while it's flying around trying to find another electron to neutralize itself, it's damaging every single cell it comes in contact with until it can be neutralized. And so the thing that's scary with that is our cells only know how to reproduce themselves as their current cell. So if you take all these cells that have now been damaged, when they go through mitosis and recreate themselves, they're going to recreate themselves as this damaged cell. And so you once had this perfect, beautiful little bubble of the cell, and now it has all these little bumps in it, kind of like your bumper carts, you know? And so as you're going around and hitting all these things, that's what's happening to our cells in our body. So you want to have these antioxidants be present both in your skincare and in your nutrition, because with the antioxidants, they're like, oh, here, I've got all these extra electrons that I can lend you. Let me lend you an electron. And so when you've got these antioxidants, it's like, here, I'm your friend. I'm going to give this to you, and I'm going to neutralize you, so that way you're no longer wreaking havoc. And when you have this high nutrient-dense diet, naturally antioxidants are plentiful. And that's why you always want to eat from the rainbow. I know you've heard that many times, but you want to eat from the rainbow, and you want to use live ingredients with high nutrients that are going to provide all these functions to start happening. And the reason why they say eat from the rainbow is all these different colors are all different kinds of antioxidants. It's not like there's just one antioxidant. There's so many different kinds of antioxidants, and they all play different roles, whether that be to help with collagen and elastin synthesis, or whether that be to neutralize the free radical, or maybe that antioxidant is just there to protect and put a little bubble around that cell, so that way as that free radical comes about, it won't allow it to damage it, because it's going to bounce right back off and not allow that damage to occur. So that's why you really want to eat from the rainbow and use products that are high in nutrients. And live nutrients, cold processing with skincare is so important. They can still have all the great ingredients in them, but if they've been cooked all day long, all of those nutrients are now destroyed. And so what was really great for our skin now is dead. So to get into some of the nasties, we won't get into too many of them or we'd be here all day long, but mineral oil, propylene glycol, butylene glycol, some sodium lauryl sulfate, parabens, fragrance, phthalates. So mineral oil. Mineral oil basically seals your skin like plastic. So what did we learn? That our skin's our largest organ, and it's our largest elimination organ. So if you're sealing your skin like plastic, how is your skin able to breathe? And of course you're going to have clogged pores, because you're using a petrochemical on your skin that does not absorb into the skin. However, the chemical byproducts of mineral oil are small enough to penetrate. So while it is sitting on the surface and clogging your pores, the little chemical byproducts of it are entering the body and damaging you on a cellular level. So not only will it clog your pores, it's going to prevent that elimination, which is then going to lead to acne and premature aging. Unfortunately, baby oil, it's mineral oil, and mineral oil is derived from crude oil gasoline, and it's actually a byproduct of the gasoline making process. And it's actually unfortunately cheaper for the gasoline companies to sell it to the cosmetic industry than it is for them to pay to discard of it, because it's so hazardous to our environment. Propylene and butylene glycol forms free radical damage. Again, you're seeing a trend. Penetrates the skin and weakens the protein and cellular structure. Protein, collagen, elastin. Workers must wear protective gear when working with it, but it's safe to put into our products. Sodium lauryl sulfate. This is something that creates lather. So it's pretty much found in anything that lathers, whether that be your shampoo, body wash, soap for your hands. All of those is what creates lather. Unfortunately, because it was derived from coconuts, a lot of people are like, oh, well, it was derived from something natural. Just because at one point it was natural doesn't mean that once it's been man-made and altered into a chemical that it has any of the same chemical composition of what it once had when it was a true coconut. The thing that's the scariest about this is that it causes damages the nervous system to animals, and it's composed of 4 known carcinogens: formaldehyde, dioxide. Then we move on to parabens. Parabens are found in most things. Now, parabens are starting to become one of the more known nasties, and so you are starting to see that taken out of a lot of products. The thing that's scary with parabens is that the FDA have decided that it's safe as long as it's used in very, very small amounts. But what cosmetic companies do is they're like, oh, well, we'll outsmart the FDA and we'll put all 4 of the parabens in there, all within that legal amount. So now you've got 4 parabens in that product, but it's actually in all 12 products that you use all day long. So at the end of the day, that's an accumulation of a lot of parabens and toxins entering the body. And the thing that's the scariest with parabens is that they're estrogenic, which means that they mimic estrogen in the body, and so they actually affect our hormones. And remember that our hormones are a messaging system. It's what communicates within the body and tells our body, excrete this, don't excrete this. So I don't want something in my body that's acting like a messenger, telling my body what to secrete and what not to secrete. We want our actual hormones doing that, not things that are in our body pretending like they're hormones. Compelling scientific evidence points to some of the 100,000 synthetic chemicals used in today are contributing to the development of breast cancer, either by altering the hormones, function, or gene expression. And then phthalates. They can interfere with hormones again in the body. They have potential risks to the reproductive and thyroid system. And they're considered hazardous waste and are regulated as pollutants in air and water, but they're not regulated in our skincare. Then fragrances. So fragrances, the scary thing with fragrance is that it can be listed as one ingredient and have up to 4,000 additional ingredients in that product without having to put a single one of them on the label. They can cause dizziness, they can cause allergic reaction, headaches, and respiratory issues. Fragrance for me was one of the hardest things to give up. I slowly transitioned out of perfumes. I loved my perfumes. So at first I would just no longer spray them on me, I'd spray them on my clothes before I got dressed, and I felt better about that. And then you get to a point that as you detox and become more and more clean, I would physically feel sick if I wore a perfume. I couldn't do it anymore. So then that's when I started wearing essential oils. I worked with them all day long. Why didn't I ever think about using them as perfume? And so I started playing around with some different ones. Luckily, again, I do work with some really great people at Montage, and so one of our massage therapists created me a blend, and he created me a blend of jasmine and sandalwood. Oh, it was the best perfume I've ever had. Not only now does my perfume smell great, and I get compliments all the time, but it actually has therapeutic benefits for myself and anybody around me. So just remember that essential oils, they're not just the decoration like a fragrance is. Fragrance is just decoration. It's just something added. Where essential oils, they have therapeutic properties. They almost all of them are antiseptic, antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, some more than others, but they all play a role. You can even use them as a natural antibiotic depending on the essential oil that you're using. You can take them internally depending again on the essential oil. You can use them for your cosmetics or for your beauty products. I started working with some hormonal balancing oils for all my hormonal imbalances. Geranium and clary sage, they became my best friend. They are the most amazing thing for irritability, PMS symptoms, all of that kind of stuff. They really help to regulate your system. So again, we've taken what was natural and we've completely altered it into something that is no longer natural. Using, again, like the sodium lauryl sulfate, just because it was at one point a coconut doesn't mean at this point that it is. And so you want to understand that vitamin C's, they're not all the same. So just because you're using your vitamin C serum doesn't necessarily mean that it's providing benefits for your skin. Unfortunately, vitamin C's are one of the most unstable skincare ingredients out there. And not only, they're supposed to help with oxidative stress. Unfortunately, most vitamin C's on the market cause oxidative stress the second you put them on your face. So many people will tell you, oh, I can't use vitamin C's, I have sensitivities to them, my skin freaks out. Well, it's because you've probably had an unstable vitamin C. You want to look for different kinds of vitamin C's. You've got your fatty vitamin C's, like your C esters, and then you've got your water-soluble vitamin C's. What are you wanting to work on? Your water-soluble vitamin C's is going to work more on like capillary damage and redness, circulatory issues, where your fat vitamin C's are going to help to store in the connective tissue and help with collagen and elastin. So they definitely play a role in skincare, but what's the quality of the vitamin C that you're getting and how is it really affecting your skin? So the thing with all of these chemicals and why it's important to understand what they really do to your skin is because at the end of the day, these chemicals really wreak havoc on our skin. And they can come out in all different ways. Some people experience acne. Some people experience the redness and capillary damage and couperose. Remember, your capillaries are like your tree branches to your veins. They're what bring all that fresh oxygen and the nutrients to the surface layers and flush out that stagnant waste. And so if you've got all this capillary damage, that means that basically, like, picture a tourniquet. You know, that capillary is dilated and it's irritated, it's inflamed, and very small amounts of nutrients are getting through, and even more small amounts of the toxins and waste are getting back through. And then pigmentation, and even worse, more than anything that happens from these chemicals, is dermatitis. And dermatitis can come up in a rash type looking, it can come up in acne, but it's usually a red, irritated thing on your face. Eczema, all these types of things are forms of like a dermatitis. And these chemicals really are what are creating the majority of it.